right now.
Awesome.
Yes.
Am I doing the intro this week? Is that how this works?
I think so.
All right. Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Welcome to the Good Dudes Beer Club here, our live stream this kind of nice Friday afternoon here in Houston. Hopefully y'all have better weather than we do this week. But we have some awesome beers from No Label Brewery out in Katy, Texas. So kind of a couple of connections to our group here. One, the owners of No Label are also owners of Heart Plumbing. You can see their hat behind me, so they're one of our customers. And we'd like to obviously support the brewery as well. And it's out in Katy near the local headquarters of Grumfoss, and I think everybody here has either had or been to the brewery out there, so wanted to share some of their beers with everybody today. So, cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
So our first beer is Gillies. It's a blonde ale, and that name should sound familiar if you've ever watched Urban Cowboy. There you go. So famous honky tonk on the east side of Houston, where in the 80s it was Devin in his early days, doing a little. Yeah, there he is.
It's my high school graduation, Fred. It's my graduation picture right there.
Nice. Doing a little mechanical bull action. So this is their original recipe. So the guys from No Label worked with the owners and are private brewing this for them. So this is their pale ale.
Nice.
It's fitting because last year at our open house rodeo, we had a mechanical bull, and I think we had this beer here for that. So pretty fun. We need to get that going again. I think we didn't do it this year, obviously, but I think next year we'll be able to do it again and get everybody back on that mechanical bull.
I mean, so did your dad get on that? Jim, we got just a little bit of feedback on your end, Jim.
On mine?
Yeah, I think we got the Golf Channel going on there.
Oh, yeah, I better turn it down.
There we go.
Yeah, so we actually have an awesome picture of my dad on the bull. I'll see if I can find it and send it to you, Devin. It's a great pic with like everybody in the background. Literally he just like sat there and then I think he fell off. Like it did not last very long.
Did you start it before you fell off, or
kind of? I don't have much room to talk though. I didn't last very long either. That thing is way harder than it looks.
No, I've been on one of those things one time in my life, and that was one time too many. So.
Mm-hmm.
So is Gillies?
Think of the. Sorry, go ahead.
Is it still open?
I think they are. I'll have to look. I think they were trying to get it to go back. It burned down, like in either the late 80s or 90s, and so it. I think they've rebuilt it, or they're trying to kind of get it going again. But I don't think it's open right now.
Because I think don't they have one in Vegas now, like a replica of it?
That wouldn't surprise me.
So is that where we're going to do our last beer tasting then? Is Gillies in Vegas?
There we go.
I think so.
Wait till 2022. Yeah.
2022, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look like they've reopened it.
The original?
There's talk that it's coming back in League City in a new like big shopping center, it looks like. But the original I don't think is coming back.
This is pretty good. This is good beer. So you say it's a pale ale?
Blonde ale.
A
Blonde ale.
Yep, and I have to preface my beer descriptions in general for the rest of the live stream with that I really don't know anything about beer. I just enjoy drinking it, so I can basically read what they wrote on the internet and regurgitate what I've talked with the guys about. So you're kind of on your own for descriptions today on the beers, fellas.
Well, the good thing
y'all are
tiny.
Yes, I think y'all are much more qualified to describe the beer than I am.
I think we have a nickname now, Carlos for Sherzad, right? And we're going to call Pete Old Piney.
Piney.
I was trying to say Cato's.
Nice.
Okay.
Carlos is much better.
Yeah, Carlos.
I'll get back to Pete at some point on that one.
I'll go back to my thing. I love that they take the time to make a story, a 3-sided story on a can, and tell you a little bit about it. And I'm always disappointed when I walk in. I'm trying to learn a little bit about the brewery itself and what they're doing and their story, where they come from, and I get a yellow can with a name on it, or something like that. I tend to steer away from those beers just because. So
it's interesting you bring that up. I so recently did a podcast episode with the guys. It's kind of the two owners of one kind of mainly does Hart, and then the other is on the brewery side, and they kind of do the marketing back and forth. But they took over ownership in 2019, I think, and one of their big things was kind of going through that rebranding process and doing a lot of stuff that you're talking about, because the brewery started in 2010, and they kind of had, I don't want to say they got stale, but they had kind of gotten into their, these are the kind of the beers that they were doing. And so to have the new guys come in, they've kind of, and then they've got a new head brewer over the last 6 months or so, and they've kind of refreshed some of the recipes and the marketing. And he basically their take on the No Label brand. I mean, where that came from was like peeling the label off, not having
No label.
Now, but they basically, now it's more that they're not kind of boxed into one type of beer. Like if you look at what they do, they have kind of a wide range of all these different beers. And so that with the new marketing was because when they started in 2010, they were the third brewery in Houston. And now there's 67 or something, almost 70 breweries in Houston. So
just
you
in
really got to
Houston
do
alone.
a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
So you've got to do a lot on, if you're in the store and this is all they have to learn about you, like Devin said, I mean, you got to be able to put a lot on there. So I think they've done a good job with it.
And it's just fun for drinkers when you have had a couple to go try to read that.
There you go.
The story makes it way better.
I think if they're
Absolutely.
really marketing geniuses, they'd put a QR code or something on. Well, everybody's got their cell phone out. Put a QR code on there and have one QR code win like a trip to somewhere, or win a T-shirt or something
Digital
like that.
Willy Wonka, if you will.
Yeah,
Digital golden
exactly.
ticket.
Yeah.
Win a
Yeah,
trip
but
to the region.
Have you seen? I think it's 19 Crimes. Have you seen that wine?
Yeah.
Where it's got the augmented reality bottle, where you put through the augmented reality deal, it scans it, and the guy on the screen basically comes to life and describes his crime. It's pretty wild.
I actually find out that happens when I drink 2 bottles of wine. Things start to come to life. It's my
You don't
own
need it.
version
Don't
of
worry about augmented reality.
augmented reality.
It's my
It's
reality.
just reality.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I saw
listen.
that 19 Crimes was advertising at a baseball game behind home plate. I can't remember if it was Yankee Stadium or what, but I saw it recently.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna grab. So
Do we have anything new
So-
from the president's desk?
on my desk here,
No, Pete.
Actual president or
Oh.
the figurehead imposter of this group?
The plaid guy.
No, I don't have anything new to report from my last meeting notes. I think we're good.
Is there anything left in the treasury? Who's taking care of the treasury?
I was going to say, how's the funding going?
What
Yeah.
Give it a couple
treasury?
more beers, there'll be a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah,
there
How's
you
the
go.
the fundraising? How's that going?
yeah. Who's in charge of that?
Fundraising is good. We're taking in more than we're spending.
There you go. So I just wanted to show this one off. We're not tasting this one yet, but the 1980 Kolsch. It's pretty solid
nice.
branding on there.
Cool.
So this is also a nice, easy drink here. I'm not as much of a fan of the hops as you guys are, but so I tend to go for these lighter beers, as you can tell by the mix this week. But this is another solid one to have kind of casual if you're not ready to start hitting up those IPAs. So
This Gillies is 18. Is it 18 IBUs? That one's 22. So you're moving up with the hops. I can tell.
a little bit. There you go. Yeah, but I think this is the one we're going to go to next. So any other comments or last thoughts on the Gillies before we kind of move on?
I could picture being at Gillies, no air conditioning. I assume there was no air conditioning there. It's really hot, and this beer would be very refreshing.
Oh yeah,
I would agree with that, but I don't know if there's a building in Texas. Well, I shouldn't say all of Texas, but in Houston that does not have air conditioning.
even the old Gillies.
Oh yeah, they would have had something.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's the only place in Houston that's worth sitting there and working up a sweat for. No Label.
Yeah. So that's the brewery. It's I don't know how familiar you are with rice farming, but Katy in general, that kind of Cole Katy area, in north and south of there was huge for rice farming. Even when I was in high school, a lot of my one of my buddies growing up his last name is Morton. And so if you've been in the Katy area, you've seen Morton Road, Morton Ranch High School. That was his family. And then my brother-in-law, who's a rice farmer down in Victoria, his last name is Franz. And so there's Franz Road and all of that in Katy too. So a lot of old rice farming stuff in Katy. So those big silos that you're seeing are some of the old leftover from some of the rice farming and all of that was happening over there. So they just kind of leave it there for the aesthetic, and then the breweries kind of built up around it. So really cool, big beer garden out front and the tap room. I don't know, Dev, if you got a picture of the tap room in there, but it's...
no, I didn't. Yeah.
I sent Devin a nice sunset pic from the patio.
I remember the first time I went there.
There you go.
The first time I went there, I called from the hotel, and I was like just so excited. There was a brewery local that I could basically almost walk to. But I hadn't eaten yet, so I said, "Do you all have a food truck?" And they said, "Yeah, we have a food truck." And I don't know, this might have been 5-6 years ago. They had a hot dog vendor pushing around a cart.
Nice. So they actually have,
but it was really good hot dogs.
So yeah, there's a food truck for people and then a food truck for pets. Like they have like a pet food truck out there. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice.
So. Yeah.
Devin, I sent you a food truck pic that I had there. I don't know if you're able to share that or not, or maybe not now, maybe later.
No, I'm not. You sent it to me on my phone, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm not able to buzz that in.
Email it to you.
That'd be great. If you could do that, then I could share it in. Yeah, my phone with the new Bose setup, you have to either be on your phone or on your laptop, and so I chose to be on my laptop today. So.
All right, so we're pouring the El Hefe now.
Oh, we're done with that one. You guys are chugging today. So we're in
These are light ones. These are sippers.
I mean, this isn't like you have to chew it before you swallow it like those IPAs. I mean, you can get these down a little easier.
You just have to scrape the buzz off the IPA, Tim.
So last month I freaked you all out by starting with 9%ers and going up from there.
Mm-hmm. That was a little much. It was a little intense.
So this is the local equivalent to Gillies.
Yep, Rainier. Yeah,
Rainier beer.
The Gillies sort of reminds me of a good Shiner, or like a better Shiner. I don't know why. I know Shiner's not like a blonde or anything, but
you talking like Shiner Bock?
Yeah,
maybe a little bit.
There's something about
I do like Shiner. Have you had Crawford Bock?
No.
So Crawford Bock is from Karbach Brewing, and it has the Astros branding on it because it's Crawford Street right there behind the Crawford boxes right out there in left field. So it's a good beer, but also along the same lines, great branding. Y'all might not like the Karbach Brewery as much since they've been bought out by.
Yeah, I loved them before that.
I still like it. Hey, I still like it. But anyways, so El Hefe. This is. Are we ready for this one or no?
Yeah.
So El Hefe is. Hang on, I got the. This is a hilarious. This is hilarious on multiple levels. One, it looks like my mom is watching, so. Hi, Mom. So that's awesome.
Is she on my Facebook stream?
I don't know. She and I gotta shout out, say thanks, Mom, because when Cougar posts stuff on Facebook, I think she's the only person that likes it. So I appreciate the support, Mom. But she just texted me and she said, "Tell him Gillies was a dance hall and the AC sucked."
but it was there.
So I didn't know she had gone to Gillies. That's pretty funny.
Neither did your dad.
Yeah, I'm expecting the text to be like, something totally unrelated to this, but there you go.
Hey, is my background better?
Now it is, yeah. Noise? Yes.
Yeah, I turned the golf.
The head's a little shiny, but other than that,
I know that.
It's like, what did you change in your background now? There you go.
There we go.
I turned the golf down.
I'm glad you fixed it, Jim, because we had a side text going on, and we were going to vote you out of the club if you didn't fix that background.
Well, then I saw the text from you, Pete, and I was like, sorry.
That's great.
11.7 IBUs.
So El Jefe is this was an interesting conversation with those guys. El Jefe is by far and away their number one selling beer. So when the new head brewer came in and they were starting to tinker with some of the recipes, they were like, you can do whatever you want, just don't touch El Jefe. So this is a Hefeweizen. And it says here, strong notes of banana, cloves, and citrus, which I did not ever think about when I drank this beer, but
I did get the banana when I tasted it.
Yeah, I was just waiting, man.
Yeah.
And the citrus, yeah.
We'll just leave that banner off now.
That's a really good Hefe.
It is a very good Hefe.
Yes.
Remember the original? I don't know, Devin, if it was the original Hefe, the pyramid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, pyramid was a big one.
Yeah, that was my first introduction to Hefes.
I almost for a pale ale, I almost bought some Sierra this weekend just for old times.
Throwback.
I always have some in the fridge. That's my
always
staple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys have me corrupted. My fridge is full. All the fruits and vegetables are gone.
Just replace with fruits and vegetables. Yeah, you're drinking it now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a liquid salad.
That's it.
Nice. So, Sherzad, this was one of your favorites from them, right?
It was, yes, no doubt. We used to drink quite a bit of that at Woodrow's, right? Isn't that where the turtle races used to be?
Woodrow.
Yep.
Whew.
Oh yeah.
Those are good nights.
I've been to Woodrow's, but I didn't know they did turtle racing.
Oh, that was be later at night.
My first trip to Woodrow's was with Sherazad. I think you were sort of running the CSC, and I was in the factory running around different meetings, and I caught up with him. He's like, "Hey, you want to get a beer tonight?" Yeah, but we'll go to this place, Woodrow's. I didn't realize he was bringing the whole CSC.
Oh.
So that was an interesting, interesting beer tab. Yeah.
You had to pay the tab?
No.
Yeah, well, that's why I was there, so I could pay.
You did. You ended up paying. No, we had a rule. It was like, one beer, and then you're on your own. Nobody told you the rule, and you were like, everybody.
The whisper is like, one of the sales guys is in town. We're going to drink tonight.
That's it.
My favorite, talking about who's paying for what with work. So when I first started, I went on orientation to Lenexa. And Jim Wing, I don't know if you remember Jimmy. So him and I had just been hired. And we had a big meal with everybody that was on orientation. It was at a sports bar. We were watching like the Final Four or something. And bill was like, I don't know, $800 or something. And I'm looking at the bill. I get the bill and I get like $700 and something. And I'm like, God, this bill was $1,400. He put $1 on his credit card and gave me. And I had to explain to my boss why I had a bill so big. I was like,
brilliant.
And the waitress did it. The waitress did it and had a straight face for it. Never gave it up until the end. I was like, I was wondering because I had been on the road traveling for years and I knew how much it should cost for that many people. I had it down to the pennies. And I'm like, this is like twice as much as what it should normally be. He got me good.
Nice. I'll have to remember that one. Yeah, we'll
that's
split it. We'll split the bill.
Yeah.
This is really good. I like this.
Who's the girl on the can?
It's a good question.
Any story there?
I don't know. It kind of looks like a what's his name? Rodriguez and
J-Lo?
No. Robert Rodriguez or Quentin Tarantino style film or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It says it's named after the boss. I guess that's where the Hefe comes from.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't know. I think it was a husband and wife that started it originally. So maybe that's a.
We'll go with that.
Portrait of the.
Looks like a scene from Kill Bill. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or what was some of the ones that were south of the border with Robert Rodriguez? With Selma Hayek was the original, and then there was like the prequels. Oh, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, yeah.
We need Greg Bretz in the comments reminding us of these things like last time.
Doing all our fact checking.
Is he good with movie trivia?
I feel like last time he helped us with one.
Mm.
Angelina Jolie.
What did he do?
Oh, nothing. Just being me.
Once upon a time in Mexico.
That's the one, yeah. But was that a was it a Rodriguez movie?
No, but I think he did the prequel.
Wasn't that?
I think it was called The Mexican.
Yeah, that's with Brad Pitt, right? And was it with?
No, that's no. That's not the one I'm thinking of. Let me see.
What was the premise of Once Upon a Time in Mexico? I think I remember it was really good at the beginning, and then it got
Desperado.
There he is.
There he is. That's hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, it was El Mariachi, Desperado, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico is the trilogy. There you go. Solid movies. The Desperado shootout scene, like where he's the man with the guitar in the Corona Club, that's in Acuna, like just across the border from Del Rio, Texas. Pretty fun little jaunt across the border there if you ever get a chance to do that.
Wait, there's a town called Acuna? Acuna? Mm-hmm. We have a baseball player for the Braves. He's probably he's gonna win MVP this year.
Oh, we got Pete excited.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch those. Those are solid movies. Totally unrelated to El Jefe, but
yeah.
other than the likeness on the can.
This is where it takes you.
Looks like Salma Hayek walking down the street in that movie. I think I remember that Once a Time in Mexico getting real at the beginning, being really interesting, but then it went like supernatural. Am I thinking of the right movie? Did it get supernatural? Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
How many bottles of wine?
Yeah.
19. How many 19
Was it
crimes?
19 crimes? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Silence. So obviously that was not the right movie.
I do have a bottle of Woodinville at my house for you, Jimmy.
Oh, you got some.
Yeah, for you.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, it might be in your next package.
Or it might come out soon.
Yeah, I was going to say make him visit.
Yeah, that's the only way Pete ever gets a beer out here. Is he has to come visit.
You mean another beer? I haven't gotten the first one yet. You got to bribe me with the first one and then get me to come out. Whoever sells the first damn distributed pumping job, that's where I'm going. So maybe neither one of you are going to sell one then now. So I don't know.
So you're not coming
technically
to Atlanta.
We sold one.
You're in Utah.
To y'all?
Is that what the plan is?
We sold it to Grumpfist, so does that count?
That's true. You did sell the first one.
Hey, Tim, have you been
technically
paid yet?
We sold it.
Tim, have you been paid yet?
It's a good question.
That's going to be the highest profit distributed pumping job. Yeah, there we go.
Nice. I'm down for bourbon.
We have a confirmation on the copper tree too, so I'll get that to you on Monday, Pete. So.
Very good. I'll come out for that.
There you go.
Actually, that one would be something I want to come out for, just to be there for a setup.
Sure. Just whatever you have to tell yourself, just bring the credit card. I got $1.
Sure
I'll split the tab with you.
Yeah. It's on record. He has to come out for this.
Yep.
So I do struggle. I mean, you guys sit here and you're like, oh, this is a great beer. So why you would not want to drink this instead of what we got next with these IPAs?
No, actually,
what's the draw between these lighter beers and these IPAs?
I have been so just narrow-minded on IPAs and double IPAs that this is a nice, refreshing break. It's really refreshing, and it actually tastes good, right? No, IPAs. That's the problem with IPAs. They taste very good to me.
That's
but
the problem.
They're 8-9%. This is a little, 5 or whatever, and it's really
this
refreshing.
goes down pretty smooth as well, though, right? You could be going through this pretty darn quick, and you'd be like, oh yeah, there's my one IPA.
The other thing I like is the 12-ounce cans, because I miss those, because everything's 16 now, and it's a commitment. Just too much.
Our region's going back to the 12-ounce can. We went 16 for a long time, which I like, and now we're back to 12-ounce cans. I can't find a 16-ounce can.
I think that was a New England IPA thing, Pete. Don't you think that they started doing that?
I don't know.
Like they should put those in like the baby Coke can size.
Yeah, you should. You would
exactly.
That's called whiskey, Tim.
Yeah, just like a couple sips, and then let's move on.
You would think with that amount of alcohol that they would have gone the other direction and done smaller bottles.
Well, I think all in all, the more you put into the can, because the actual canning of the thing is the most expensive part of the bottling process, packaging. So a keg's the cheapest, little cans are the most expensive. So I think that's why that's why they started with bombers, because bottles are cheaper than cans, and then they're big, so you can move a lot of volume really quick.
So what's good, they have like a deal on site where you can basically buy off. They don't can everything, but they have 24 on tap. I think you can get them to can right there, any of them. But I think it's like a 24-ounce can.
Yeah, it's a crowler.
What?
Yeah,
a crowler with a growler, but with a C, like a can growler.
Yes.
Oh, see,
yes. Exactly.
One does that too.
They'll do that right there on site. And I was trying to do that for the Cali Boy, but they didn't even have any kegs of it.
And there's some kind of old-fashioned cast iron machine that seals it, and it's pretty neat.
Like crimps the can, and
it looks like it had a motor on top. Like I don't know, it was pretty cool.
I must have missed that completely.
The whole crowler.
I think that's a low budget way to be able for people to take the beer fresh.
Yep.
And
do they still fill up growlers now, or that's still not?
No, that's still.
Oh no, they will. They have growlers, and they sell the growlers, and they'll refill. I mean, I think if you took a 5-gallon bucket, they would fill it.
No, that's only in Georgia.
I'm sure. TABC would have something to say about that, but they do have some like different things that you can buy and take with you. And the laws, I think it just passed. Either it passed or it's like in session, but I think it did pass that alcohol to go is here to stay in Texas, so it's pretty big.
Because
big change for us.
Right, they didn't in the past.
So during COVID, they allowed it so that restaurants could get it with the to-go orders.
Could do something.
And it was interesting. I was talking with a guy in my neighborhood that works for the Jose Cuervo. He works for Cuervo, like the distributors and the restaurants are his customers. And he was saying, we went from doing all of these 750s and handles to now we're doing the little tiny 375s, basically
airline bottles,
because that was how they would initially. That was how they could do it. They could sell a sealed mini bottle with the mixed drink, and you did it at home.
Wow!
Right? But now it's like the way the laws have changed. I think you can make it and sell it to go. which I think once everybody was able to get a bag of or like a milk jug full of frozen margaritas to go, they're like, I'm never giving this up.
We've done that a couple times.
There was a drive-through margarita place, right? Wasn't that just outside of Katy?
On Washington. There's a couple of them.
Yeah,
I think you're going to see a lot more of them now. But
there you go.
Drive-through
Mexican restaurants love the. Yeah.
Literally, yeah. Wow. So you know, they don't even tell you that, hey man, you can't drink this. They're just like, hey, here you go.
Yeah, there's a couple of beer barns where like you literally drive through and it's got the coolers on the wall and you just say I want that, and they load you up. But some of them have actual frozen drinks to go too. There's one on Washington. It's been there for a while.
First time I saw one of those or went to one of those, I was at an Auburn.
Fancy.
I was at an Auburn football game, and there was it was a Shell station, but they had this place, it was called the Quick Stop Cold Keg, and it was in Shorter, Alabama, just outside of Auburn. And you had a drive-through, and you could get they called it a growler, but it was a milk jug of beer. And I'll never forget, they had Sierra Nevada, and we took like 5 of them to the tailgate, and I'm just looking around like, is this legal? We can just, you just give me a milk jug through the window?
That's amazing.
Hold on, I got a gas can. Would you fill that up for me?
Yeah.
It was literally a milk jug.
Nice. Gas cans like need Brett's help again with the movies. With what's his name? Damn it. I'll come back to it. I'll remember.
That's all right, Tim.
Martin.
Brain fart on movies today.
We all take Prevagen too, so just go ahead and get started with the salt and pepper. You can. It's time for you to.
McLovin is the character's name I was thinking of, but
Superbad.
He steals the beer in the gas.
Superbad. Yeah.
He steals the beer in
Superbad.
Actually, I think those were. I think they were laundry detergent.
They were
giant laundry detergents. They weren't gas cans.
The green beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great
all right. What do we want to do next? We got sitting beside Haze, the New England IPA or Hop Solo, the pale ale that's made from a galaxy far, far away.
I say the Hop Solo.
Yeah, I would say Hop Solo.
Down for that. I'll be right back.
That's
I'm
next.
so mad I don't have my T-shirt. I gotta find that. That's a great shirt too. I think, don't tell him because he walked away. I think I bought it for Jim. And then, because he always wants me to get him shirts when I go places, and I thought it was a cool one. And I got home, I'm like, no, I like this one. I'm keeping it.
No, this is gonna be for me.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, anything Star Wars is gonna be okay in my book. So,
absolutely.
And any sort of a pun / dad joke. So, already in on this beer on multiple levels, except that it's a pale ale. So. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna like that, but
no, it's not crazy from my memory.
The lightsaber, and you had to be 6 feet apart.
6 feet,
6 feet apart.
I didn't see that. That's awesome.
So I don't know if you noticed, but the way that they do the labels is pretty cool because it's basically a just a generic can, and they can do the sticker on there, so they can kind of can whatever they want, mix it up. It's pretty slick, but yeah, now we're up to 40 IBU. I don't know that means, but that's much higher than where we were at 11. And I read somewhere that it's strata hops. Again, I have no idea what that means, but that was on the website. So, pale ale.
Well, they changed it because I remember when I first had it, when I talked about that cool shirt that I got for myself and not for Jim, I don't know if that was the old owners. It was definitely before 2019. And I think Hop Solo was, of course, a play on Star Wars because one of the new movies, I don't know if it's a Han Solo movie or just one of the new reboots were out, but it was also a play on Solo hops. So it was a change up, like they would brew it with a different hop each time. I don't know if that's how they're continuing with it, but I remember it being a great beer.
It was a long time ago. There are a lot of people doing that now. Like Hen House has the Stoked, which they do different hops and
well, that War Piece from Prison City, that's their thing too, is that each time they brew it, it's with a different single hop, and they try to do the experimental. So you said Strata for this one, Tim?
Well, that was what I saw on the site, but it was a different year, so I don't know if they're rotating. That may not be the case.
Right.
I'm still trying to finish the Hefe. Holy.
Just
Tim's going fast today. Yeah, it's the Hefe and the blonde.
I'm about to.
He's
I'm
gonna
about to
slow
take
down
a
now.
pace
the
here.
babysitter.
He's gonna slow down now.
About to be taking baby sips the rest of the way here. I mean, the 16 ounces of the 9% last month got me pretty good. So
yeah, we haven't even gotten to that point yet, Tim. We haven't even gotten to the end of our first beer last time.
Oh
No,
yeah.
You know, we're on our third beer.
I mean,
yeah, I was about
some
to
of
start
us got to it. That was probably not a good thing, but
I was about to start putting them in cups that weren't clear, so I could just kind of be like, "Yeah, this is good."
So Jim, he was lying to you last time.
And then have like my water over here that's an actual, Miller Lite or something. And I would have fared much better had I done that.
We lost Jim. There, he's back. He's back.
So
sorry about that. I lost.
They
released this
nuts?
beer.
Ooh. Oh.
I have. I brought the pretzels along for the heavy part here.
Yeah, I got some pistachios.
So they released this on May the 2nd, but then said May the 4th be with you, and I feel like they should have just waited till the 4th to release it. But.
So just without tasting it, I smell the hops and I love it already. I love where we're going with this.
So this is where you guys got to take over with your descriptions and the judgment of the beer, because my expertise is now been far surpassed.
To get to what you were talking before, Tim, like saying, "Oh, you guys are enjoying these beers. Why wouldn't you want to just drink these beers?" Those were great beers, both of them. Blonde ale, great example of it. That Hefe was awesome as far as Hefes go, and they were great. There's nothing to take away from them. But this is like, just smelling this, it's like, now it's like I'm sitting down to a steak. Like, it's like, this is, I'm so excited right now. I'm perking up.
But what are you smelling? Are you smelling the pine needles?
It's piney. It's Piney Pete. I'll tell you, for me, the transformation for me is I'm still a, lighter beer drinker, but what I'm enjoying is pairing these beers now with food that it almost like a wine. And so I'll sit down and have one or two with halibut or steak, or as you guys know, and so different foods. And I'm enjoying finding not volume, but drinking one or two and having it with dinner or by the fire pit. That's what we do out here in the Northwest. We light things on fire and and catch fish.
Yep, catch it, kill it, and light it on fire.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, this one's it's pretty good. It's good, but
it's really good. This could be.
Again, I'm not.
That's good beer.
I could drink this all day at a tailgate.
Yeah, this is like all day beer.
Yeah, low IBU, but 5.6, something like that, right? 5.
Golf beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
5.6.
So one of the things that I noticed when we were doing the tastings, we didn't do this one. We might have done Sitting Side Haze when I was sitting down with the guys, but I felt like I expected the beers to have this aftertaste or this kind of like funky aftertaste, and none of them felt like they all finished like really smooth, even if it did have that kind of extra flavor. So I don't know if that's the way that they brew it or anything else, but it just felt.
I think it's that Katie water that just kills all the bitterness before it hits your palate.
It could be.
Could be.
It's really
I'm sure
good.
they have a good reverse osmosis system.
Tim, is this a regular beer for them? I mean, is this available all the time?
I think this is kind of a seasonal.
Okay.
It just came out, but it's been a regular beer, but it's not on tap year round, if that makes sense. So it's a regular seasonal. Would that be a good way to describe it?
Yeah, well, it's got to be like a May the 4th thing, right? Like they probably do it.
No, but they bring it out on the 2nd.
On May the 2nd, though.
May the 2nd.
It's a perennial, right? It dies at some point, and then it comes back every year.
There you go.
We're talking plant lingo.
Now we're talking gardening.
Just plethora of information today.
You're watching the PGA? Is that what you were doing, Jim?
Yeah, like right over my camera.
Nice, smart.
Here's my
And the
big
speaker's
screen.
right by your microphone.
Not right now. I turned it down.
I mean, you could
If
watch it on
only-
mute, just to say.
If only you could watch golf on mute.
Do you know Phil Mickelson was leading at one point? Mickelson was leading at one point today?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Two things about Phil Mickelson. Number one, he's 50. Can you believe that? Number two, if he wins this, he'll be the oldest one to ever win the PGA Championship.
It's a long way
he
away,
have the
dude.
longest? Didn't he have the longest streak of being in the top 100 golfers? Like nobody's ever gonna touch his streak.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like 20 years or something ridiculous.
Right? Yeah.
But
yeah.
he was, thanks, buddy.
Ah,
Cheers.
Cheers. When are we singing?
3 more beers. No, then we can sing.
There are no
and
9%ers, you know. I just gotta
and
wait for my
Uber.
9%.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tim, I gotta say,
Very
like,
good. I like this, Tim.
yeah, I gotta say, like Pete said, that the Hefe was a great example of the Hefeweizen category. The blonde ale, the rodeo, was a great example of that. But as far as my personal taste, this is awesome. This is really
It's
good.
a nice beer.
I think that Gillies blonde ale was better than the Hardywood single.
Get out.
That's Jim's cousin's brewery. Sorry.
Oh, I was wondering. I was like, okay, I think we touched a nerve here.
Yeah, that was not. That was
Well,
just,
I'm sure Patrick's listening, so
yeah. Soon.
I just checked. No.
no. You went through the whole list of attendees.
Did we
Yeah,
lose
we-
all our followers?
Whole list
We
of
lost
one.
all our followers, and Greg was listening at his nephew's t-ball game, and we got a little bit too racy for him, so he had to shut it off.
Yeah, if T-ball won out over this, then we might have to revamp something. T-ball's rough.
Oh,
Yeah, I would say that we skipped T-ball. We went straight to rookie at the 5 and 6 year old level, and that's fun. But it's like just hilarious to watch. But the league that Mikey's in right now, like that 8U,
Yeah, that's when it gets fun.
They call it midget. It's rookie and then midget.
That's
but
not,
8U, right?
politically
Can you
correct.
say that? Can you say that?
Yeah.
No.
You can say it in Texas, but not anywhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 8U basically, 7 and 8 year olds, but it's so much fun because it's still dad pitch. So ton of hits, ton of offense, but the kids can actually start to play baseball and make outs, and it is so much fun.
When do they do
championship?
When do they do kid pitch in Texas?
10U. Sorry, 10U.
Wait till that happens. You're just going to want them to get hit to get it over with.
Devin, they're going to pull our
So-
sponsorship. You spelled it wrong.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm third
So
beer in.
I've heard
Worked
the
out
first
perfect.
year of kid pitch gets a little rough, and then it starts to get fun again. But
Yeah, because
it'd be
the
nice to have like a
pitchers
bridge year. Yeah. of
The trouble is
machine
the pitchers
pitchers.
aren't very good, and there's a lot of walks. But I remember with my son, I was just like, just get hit so you can get it over with. Get over the fear. Today's sponsor, Pete
Brilliant.
Corson.
Is that how you spell my name on the?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Well, I got to tell you guys that we had a 10U team that we lost about 8 games out of 60. We played national and everything. Those kids were throwing almost 70 miles an hour. They were like
What?
65,
10?
60 at 10. And they were 62 to not quite 70. And
10.
they were at 10, and they were bringing it. And that was at the upper level teams. It was pretty standard. So there's definitely a separation there at 10 years old.
Because the Little League World Series is 10 and 11 year olds, right?
Right.
10, 11, 12 maybe? Like the
I
one that's now on
Yeah,
ESPN,
it's a little
right?
more.
I think
Than,
it's-
yeah.
I think it's 10U, and they have to be 10 at a certain age. It might have changed since, but
I
our
thought it was
kids,
a little older, but
were not eligible for Little League because
It's
we
a
pulled them out.
specific league, right?
we pulled them out of our
funnels in,
town. Yeah, and they have to be all-stars in Little League, and we pulled a region together, and that's pretty common for our area. There's a lot of great teams that did that, and often we'd go to California or Texas or Nebraska or something like that, and we'd play teams from our hometown in
at 10
and semifinals and things like that. We do well enough, and it would be the people that were in our own league that we would end up playing in the championship rounds. So
wow. See, we never traveled at that age because we could get our ass kicked. Whoops. I mean, the talent around Metro Atlanta was just so off the charts that it was like we didn't have to go anywhere. We couldn't even hang here because we'd meet teams like at tournaments in Florida or Myrtle Beach, and they'd be like, yeah, I remember meeting a team from Louisiana, and they're like, we travel every week. And I'm like, what? And they go, we have no competition in Louisiana, so we got to go find it or it's no fun. And I'm like, we don't have that problem. All these teams are good here.
There's a ton of tournament teams in Houston.
There's a big baseball club out of Georgia, and I don't remember the name.
East Cobb.
East Cobb, yeah.
That's where a lot of the Braves.
A ton of talent comes out of there, and out of Washington, there's good talent, but there's just not a ton of it, so we have to travel. I had to travel, so.
Speaking of Washington and Seattle, I hope you get your basketball team back soon.
Yeah, so do I. It's long overdue.
Long overdue.
Sonics were fun to watch when we had them. And,
especially when you had Ray Allen.
Yeah.
Well, when you say soon, is there a conversation around it? I'm maybe out of it.
There's rumors all the time, but it seems to be heating up between Seattle and Las Vegas right now.
Oh, but Vegas is pretty hot for sports right now.
Mm-hmm. The thing to me that was amazing is the last time the NBA expanded was 2004.
Yeah,
with the Charlotte Bobcats. You know, the Hornets left. So it's been a while. Expansion. And I think that, you know, the NBA wants to make money, and coming off of COVID, they probably lost a lot of money. So they're going to I wouldn't be surprised if they expand pretty quickly.
Increase games and number of games, or
typically
the league had more than one team.
I was going to say they always go by twos usually, so hopefully that helps.
Right.
Because Vegas is the place to go right now. There's, you know, if I was going to put the money in, and I was the league administrator, as much as Seattle deserves a team, I'd go to Vegas. Sorry, both our listeners.
They'd be both West Coast, but I can't think anywhere else. There's nowhere on the East Coast that needs it.
So what is Seattle for market size? Aren't they like top 10 for sure? As far as population, yeah. Like compared to when they left and they went to Oklahoma City, I'm just top of my head. Seattle is probably 8. Yeah, Oklahoma City's probably 35th.
30 something, yeah.
How did they get a team?
It was money. The guy, the owner lived in Oklahoma.
And he swore that he wasn't going to move the team, and then he moved him in 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, like what is interesting to me is Sacramento has a team where the owners are out of Vegas.
Yeah.
The owners of Sacramento Kings are out of Vegas. Maloofs.
There were rumors for a while that Sacramento was going to move to Seattle and become the Seattle expansion team.
There was,
But I remember the Seattle people were like, we don't want that because we know what it feels like. We don't want to steal from another town.
I see. But I mean, the Sacramento, like the city of Sacramento, was who was the mayor? He was an ex-NBA player.
Kevin Johnson.
Kevin Johnson, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And he basically was like, "Hey, man, no, you're not doing it. We're going to figure out a way to keep you," and he did.
That's what sort of the Oakland A's are under that same thing right now. They're going to move the baseball team, and Vegas is just sitting, going, bring it on. Yeah. So
I just couldn't imagine the Raiders and the A's both being in Vegas. That'd be horrible. It's bad enough the Raiders win.
The East Bay will lose every one of their teams, basically.
It just doesn't make sense, Sherzad, because the city's just it's awesome now. And not that it wasn't ever awesome, but it's a destination now.
The Oakland, the A's were gonna, you know how the 49ers have the open to the ocean stadium, right?
Yeah.
They were gonna do the same thing with Jack London Square, where they would open it up and be kind of like mirror. And if that doesn't happen, there's a lot of construction and a lot of things that are just not gonna go, right? It's gonna hurt.
I don't know how it became a sports show, but it happened.
Because you were listening to golf.
So Tim, behind your left shoulder, is that the soccer stadium?
It is.
And I assume you did a bunch of the plumbing there?
We have Grumfoss quad booster system in there, CR45s. And
Beautiful.
on the Super Flush, they couldn't get all of the pumps to come on. And so
because they didn't need to. I love it.
They turned on the irrigation system, still wouldn't come on. And so 3 out of the 4 pumps carried the whole thing. We went in, we snuck in. I say we snuck in. We knew the facilities guy got us into the pump room the opening day of that stadium. I think it was in 2012. It was a day game, which rarely happens now because it's so freaking hot. But we got us in. It was a packed house, and at halftime, 2 pumps were running by 80-ish% and just humming along.
Wow.
And keeping. So we have that, and then right across the street we have Minute Maid Park, recently upgraded with 4 CR90s, and it'll cruise with 2 pumps, doing about 1,000 gallons a minute. It's pretty awesome. Here, I'll show you. So I got a couple panos. I'll show you. So you can, well.
That is sick. All
Oh,
right.
is that opening day?
So this was it wasn't opening day. It was just like an awesome day. We were season ticket holders for a while, and then the Dynamo didn't do so hot, so I finally gave up my seats. But this was from our seats. I love the stadium. You can see the city in the background. So that's been kind of my thing. We did a trip to Europe. England. For a soccer trip, and I have panoramics of all the stadiums that we went to, and so those were my first 2 to get and test out. But I'm gonna hopefully fill my office wall with all of my soccer.
But
Where all
you
did you
took
go? Sorry.
Jim, do you have a question?
You took that picture and then blew it up and had it
Yeah.
made like that? What nice.
Yeah.
Holy crap! I
so-
thought you bought it or something. That's nice.
No.
pretty good.
I took that pano and had it printed on canvas. Yeah. So when we were in England, we did stadium tours of Chelsea, Man United, Man City, and what was the other tour that we did?
In the city or in and around London, or
So we
outside?
started in London. We went to
Chelsea.
stadium tour of Chelsea in the day, Arsenal Europa League game at night.
Nice.
And then we went to Manchester that was on a Thursday. We went to Manchester on Friday, toured Manchester United, Manchester City, and then we went to a game at Wigan Friday night, which Wigan is a tiny little town between Manchester and Liverpool.
A lot of fun though.
Was the night of the trip, right? Like we get into Wigan and it's a tiny little town, one street town, and we're like, excuse me, where can we get some good food before the game? They're like, you're in Wigan, you can't. I was like, all right. So we went to the local pub and got whatever was there and walked from there to the stadium, and these Wigan fans just came out of nowhere and started kind of busting our balls. They thought we were competing fans, and it didn't take them long to figure out we were not from whatever town that was. And they were like, "What the hell are y'all doing in Wigan? Like, was this on purpose? Like, yeah." And so they kind of took us in, and we went into the supporter section with them, and I mean, we spent they took us everywhere Wigan had to offer that night. It was
cool.
So much fun. We missed the train home, had to take a cab back, and then barely caught the train the next morning to go to Liverpool to tour Everton Stadium, and then we saw a game at Liverpool.
Nice.
Wow.
This is great.
Dude, that was Saturday. Sunday, we took a train back to London and watched Chelsea at West Ham at the Olympic Stadium. So 4 games, 4 tours, and in like 3.5 days or something. It was.
I've only
my
been
body,
to 2.
My body basically like fell apart on the. I was like trying to buy medicine in the airport, and somehow like in England there was a bigger language barrier than there was like when I go to Mexico. I'm like I can communicate when I'm in Mexico. I'm in London. I'm like what are you saying?
What are you saying?
What are you saying?
Yeah. So it was.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was a fun trip. So yeah, I've got another one of my of Everton. That's the club I support from.
Really? Wow.
League, so
Wow. So Sherzad, I when I went to London the one time, I was infatuated with cricket. Oh, sorry. I was infatuated with cricket.
Yes.
So I toured Lord's cricket grounds.
Well done.
That was fascinating.
It is quite fascinating. Yeah, I was just there for the World Cup.
At Lord's?
Yeah, I watched it at Lord's. That is the Everton. Yeah, right.
EFC.
Goodison Park.
Goodison Park. Yeah. No, I went to a couple of. So interestingly, I don't know why I ended up in Cardiff, which was when I say I don't know why.
Nice.
Well. It was interesting. It was a really interesting night. Let's put it that way. Missed the train.
Wait, let's hear more detail.
Missed the train. Had to stay in Cardiff, which was another fun night. First train out. Slept all day. That was the plan.
So were the National Rail workers striking when you were there?
No.
So they were striking when we were there, and so only every other train ran.
Oh wow!
So it was a nightmare, trying to get all of those people on the train.
Cardiff, you talk about language barriers. You're like, what are we talking about?
I cannot
what
understand.
Are you saying?
Yeah.
Give me a beer. What is that one? I'm like, no, that one. Give me that one.
And it's funny they talk about how good beer is supposed to be over there, right? But they don't have the selection of beer.
No, not at all.
No,
it's actually bad if you ask me.
And I also remember growing up, you always heard it was so much stronger, which back before we had craft beer here in the States, it was. But I remember doing a tour and drinking all day at different pubs, and I just never got a buzz. It was so watered down. Well, not that I was looking to get a buzz.
Why else would you be drinking?
If it's a pub, they typically have like a beer, a cider, and Jack Daniels.
That's it, or Jameson, or depends.
Yeah, I mean it was like 3 things to choose from.
The other thing
Jim's been training for a beer drinking competition.
Don't they also have that thing where you only like a pub is sponsored by a brewery, so like they only have that brewery's beer? Is that still a thing there?
No, the coolest thing I saw in the UK was so you've got the public houses, which is what a pub is, right? You got free houses. Have you ever heard about a free house?
Yeah.
That's where it is, right? So, I mean, some of the oldest free houses, it's really cool. Like, that's their own beer.
Yeah.
Whereas the public houses, you serve whatever.
Sherzad,
did
you live there, Sherzad? Or did you just visit a lot?
No, we just visited a lot. I mean, all my friends ended up there from, high school and childhood and whatever. But I actually never wanted to go to the UK.
You ended up in Oakland.
No, I ended up in Canada.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Canada.
That was cool.
Guys,
that had to do something with my wife, or my present wife, back then girlfriend.
I believe me. I think when you took this new job, Sherzad, and we start, obviously you guys know Grumpus went through all this stuff, and we made some changes. Sherzad's our new fearless leader here in the northern half of the region, most of North America.